Hi, I'm Bonnie Lynn Linke, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to my studio, Stamping with Bonnie Lynn. Today I am going to show you how I made one of these cute little gift boxes. They hold, and I'm going to say the name of the candy wrong, so I apologize right now, Ferraro Rochers. It holds 3 of them. I think they're like a truffle. I have food allergies, so I can't taste it to tell you. And it will hold a gift card in the back right there. And I'm going to show you another way to do it right up here too, where you put the gift card in instead of cutting it out right there. And I know these are on the internet and have been for a long time because I've been making them for a long time and have gotten directions off of the internet. But all the directions call for a 12-inch piece of paper because the dimensions they use are 7 3/4 by 11 1/4. Well, almost all of my paper is 8.5 by 11 inches. So I figured I can do away with that 1/4 inch someplace and it won't make a difference. And I did. So I am going to show you how I made that. Let's get started. First we need a first we need our trimmer because I am going to cut the paper down. I've only cut out a couple decorations ahead of time, so you get to see everything I did. Now what I did, and I have, is this is my cheat sheet. I made one out. This is just an inexpensive white cardstock that I use for making samples out of. And also I use this cardstock. I buy it at Walmart and I cut it into 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch pieces. And then I put it in front of a card whenever I mail it to keep any embellishments I have from going through the envelope and just to protect the card. And one thing I learned about that this week is that somebody suggests that you emboss the piece of paper that you put in front of the card, and this will give more with a heavily embossed folder because it will even do a better job of it. So that's something I will start doing too. So this is my sample that I keep whenever I'm making them. And I have on here written dimensions and everything else. And I put on here which panels to decorate. And it just makes it easy. So I'm going to set that up there so I can see it. And as I said, I'm going to use the Rustic Harvest paper. And so the box is going to be made out of the Saffron cardstock. And it's already 11 inches, so I want to cut it down to be 7 3/4. Now I do all my scoring on my scoreboard, except for the very first one that I want to do, being I have the trimmer out, and that measurement is going to be 8 5/16. And 5/16 would be, you have the 1/4 inch mark right here. It would just be one little slash line over. So I'm gonna, okay, there's 1/4 inch, and the next big line down there is 8 5/16. Because the lines on the bottom of the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, those are all 16ths. The ones up above have to do with your centimeters, I believe. So we will make sure I score it and not cut it. And you cannot make that measurement 16th measurement score lines on the scoreboard. So that's why I do that one here. So that will be all that we need the trimmer for. Set that down. And for those of you who follow me, you'll notice I got a different background. I decided to try and use my workbench table that I have in the middle of my craft room to see if it works a little bit better. So I'm not quite sure how the glare is going to be. I've tried to do away with it, and we'll see. So we're going to score the 7 3/4 inch side first. So what we're going to do is we're going to score at a 1/2 inch and 1 7/8. And then now I could either turn this around like this if I wanted to, or else I can go over here and if I turned it around, I would just do those 2 same measurements again. Otherwise, you're going to do it at 5 7/8 and 7 1/4. And also down in the notes, you'll see that being we already have this score line in, this would be our second score line normally, but we haven't made the other one. You're going to want to go down 1 1/4 inch over 1 1/4 inch down to this score line that's right here, and that is your 8 5/16 that we did on our trimmer. Okay, now we're going to turn it, and when we turn it, we put, because we already did the 8 5/16, we want that over on the right hand side. So we want a 1/2 inch. We want 1 7/8 again. And then let me make sure I get this right. We want 3 1/4. I should know these by heart. 4 5/8. So there's 4 1/2. There's 5/8. And then we want to do the 6 inch down to the second score line right there. And we're going to flip it over so we can do the other side, the 6 inch right down to that score line right there. That's the second score line. Flip it back so it's correct because we still have more to do. We already did the 8 5/16, so now we need to do the 10 5/8, which is right there. And that's it for the scoreboard. So we will take that and set it down out of the way. And it's in a place where I know I'll trip over it. So, okay, now I start up at the end that has the wide parts up here because this is the back. And what I mean by that is that it's this part right up here. That's where I like to start. And I'm going to start on the right-hand side here, this score line right here, if you can see it. And we're going to go at a diagonal right through that intersection where they meet and go to that 1 1/4 inch line that we made. And we're going to trim down it. And we're going to go at an angle to that corner right there. And then we're going to cut down this one block till we get to that 6 inch one that we made. And we're going to stop. Okay, and we're going to... But you'll find the method of rotation that works best for you. And then we're going to cut all these other score lines right to that line right there. Now you could use your trimmer for it, but I find that you don't really know quite where to stop. So I don't know if it's a good idea. I tried it and I do better with my scissors, even though I don't cut straight. And then on this one, we're going to take it right to there, and we're going to cut this one off. And on my website, there will be a picture of what it looks like after it's all cut out. And now we turn it, and we cut that one up to that first line. And we want to cut this tab off too, because we're at the box, at the part where this will fit, make the box itself, this rolled up part here. So we only want this piece sticking out right there. And then we go and we cut all of these in. cut this one. Okay, and then this is the easiest cut. We're back at this end here. And you can see where we cut that tab out. And we're just going to start right down on this score line, which would be the second long one in. And we're going to cut it down to that 6-inch mark so that whole piece comes off. And then on these tabs, this is the one that's going to get tucked in, so it stays like it is. But make sure that, you know, they're straight and not wider than what you want them. Then the second one, we cut off this 1/2-inch piece right there. And then I'm going to fold those out of the way. The third one up gets completely cut off. I suppose you could just cut off the 1/2-inch part and leave it if you wanted to, but there's no need to. And then cut off the 1/2-inch on this one too. I did do a very good job. Okay, and another thing I do, nobody else I've seen does this. I go back and on the 2nd and 4th tabs here, I just cut them a little bit at an angle so that this end is a little bit narrower than right there. As you can see, not too much, and I do it at an angle. And that's just so that when I fold the flaps in, they're not going to be hanging up on anything and causing any problems, because I find out if I don't do this, I need to go back and redo it and do it at the time I'm putting them all together. So it's easier just to do it now. And this one is really, I cut it wide, so I'm just going to trim that down some. That one looks fine. So this one, okay, work from this way. So cut off the 1/2-inch tab. This is the third one, so this one gets cut off. Try to do it straight. This one, the 1/2-inch tab gets cut off. Okay, and that one stays like that. Okay, and then again, just kind of narrow it down a little bit. These boxes are so easy to make, especially after you make a couple. And I have craft sales coming up, so that's why I'm making these. They are normally, it's been a while since I've really done craft sales. So, and back when I did them, they were a good seller. So I thought I would try them again. Okay, now we want to take our bone folder and we want to fold everything. Oh, whoops, before we do that, you want a corner rounder. And the one I have is a crocodile corner chopper from We Are Memory Keepers. And I use the 1/2-inch side of it. And just on this first one, because this is the side that gets tucked in, we want to round the corners on these to make it easier to get them in. And let me turn it over and do this side too. Now I had another one, but it finally wore out, so of a different brand, and so I got that one just recently. So we're gonna fold everything on its score lines and burnish it with our bone folder. That way when we're putting it all together, we're not making new lines. I think I've already done that one. Okay. The next step is we're going to take this, and this is the end that folds up like so, but we want to make an opening in it. Now, on one of them I did, this one right here, as you can see, it's a little bit wider. I did this on with the die cut instead of a punch. I'm going to use a punch for the ones I'm doing now. It's not one that's currently available. So I wanted to show you something that you could do with the die punch. And that is this one here. It's a little bit more work, but it's okay. But you can see how it fit. Okay, and the way you do that is you're going to lay it on your board. And you're going to lay it right here. And it's easy to figure out where the middle is because you got these little holes in the die right there and there. That's the middle. And just tape it down like so. That's a piece of purple tape. But when you put it on the board and run it through the machine, you need to fold in all your flaps. And the ones on the die, you want to fold on top, because if you fold them underneath, they'll get cut. So you want to make sure you put them on top and just take it in. And then after you put the paper on it, and you have to cut it out the paper, the designer series paper, you'll then put your die on this side, like so. And you'll know it because you'll have the hole right there. You'll be able to see it and just cut out the paper. And remember again to just fold these up on top and run it through your cut and emboss. It's that easy. And that is from the Lights Labels Aglow die cuts. But this is the one that is of any current product. This is the best die to use. And that's why I wanted to show you that. Now, if you've been doing Stampin' Up! For a while and you have some punches, you can use a punch to punch it. And I'm going to use this one right here. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a good one. And there's another one that's almost like this that is also good. And what you want to do is you want to center it between the two score lines, or try to, and then you want to get it so that the paper comes to about halfway through right there. And squeeze, just like that. If you wait till you put your designer series paper on it, you're going to have trouble. If you're like me, you're going to have trouble getting the punch to work through 2 layers of cardstocks and 2 layers of the designer series paper. Whoops, we do need our trimmer again. So let me, we forgot to cut the designer series paper. So to cut the designer series paper, this is a 3 7/8 inch wide by 6 inches. Now, normally I cut my paper and I did cut it in a 4-inch strip. I just cut off a 6 inch and already took it down, I believe, to the 3 7/8. Yep, I did. So now I want to cut 3 pieces of 1 1/4 inch wide, like so. Okay, and the next one gets cut at 2 3/16. So 3/16 is the line right before the 2 1/4. So you want to take that, and it's not much that's going to come off. 2 1/4 was just because we took away that 1/4 inch. We had to reduce the size of paper that all the other people were saying to use. Okay, now I'm going to take the first piece I cut, and I need to make a couple pieces out of it that are 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. And I don't think that one is 1 1/4. Nope. See, I was talking and I cut it wrong, but that's okay, because there was enough room on here for a mistake. There we go. So I got my 2 1/4 inch pieces. We'll get rid of these. Okay, and now this piece right here, you can save this and you can cut it in half if you want to. And if you were to do a greeting for this box out of the same punch, you could put this underneath the paper that you would punch out your greeting on, and that way you could have a little bit of this paper showing, but I'm not going to do that. I just wanted to tell you you could do that. Okay, so next we're going to start our gluing. So I'm going to get my silicone mat, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, okay, I want to see if I can, okay, they went like, here you can see where the pumpkin is, so I'm going to, and the pumpkin's just going to get cut out anyhow. But I'm going to go ahead and, let me see, I'm going to put this over here. Okay, and when I glue, I go in just an inch or so on that upper side, down the side, down the bottom, up, and in about an inch. And I'm going to, oh, whoops, I forgot to put glue around, because you want to put glue around your little window. There we go. That will be enough. You know, I've been working with the glue a lot more, and you'd think I'd start getting neater with it. I don't. But center that on there. And then do the same. Now this is going to meet up with that one, so only go in about an inch because you got that window there. So there's no reason to glue your silicone mat. And go up around the top. So, and like so. Now, a long time ago, when I made these, I used tape instead of glue because the directions that I had said to do that. And I'll tell you something, I had more trouble with these boxes coming apart where the cardstock was had tape on it. So I don't really recommend tape. I do recommend you glue these. The paper, designer series paper, go ahead and put that on with tape if you want to. But when you're putting the box together, highly recommend you glue it. So while we're waiting for that to dry, because I do not want to go ahead and punch this until it's dry, what we're going to do, this flap here, the reason why we have it is so that it will hold your, it will keep your gift card. You got that little stopper there. It will keep it from going all the way to the end where it can't be reached. So that's why we make that. So we're going to put glue on here and we're going to fold it over and press it down. I have a container with my blocks in it, just, you know, one of these plastic Rubbermaid containers. And I'm putting my glue in it to keep it upside down so that I don't have to keep shaking it. Okay, and now what we're going to do, did I forget to fold these? I did when I was burnishing my score lines. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, and I see that when I fold this over, I didn't cut that side really good. It's going to show, and it's not going to make a difference probably to anybody but me. But I'm going to go ahead and get that cut a little bit closer so that it doesn't show from the front. I know, I'm very nerdy about things like that. Okay, so now we're going to take our glue again. We're going to put it on this tab that we just glued down. Okay, now this one, we don't want to glue it down because our gift card needs to go under it. So keep that in mind when you're putting glue on this little tab right here, because you don't want your glue to run over where it may come off. So you really just want to get that edge real good, like so. And you just want to flip it over and hold it down. When I'm working at my desk, I have a different holder, my pin holder and all that. I just put my glue in. Okay, and just, all right. Now we need to put the paper on the flaps. And my problem is, I always, when it's directional paper, just like this, I should have probably put this paper the other way around. Oh, well. But I want to try and get my flaps so they're kind of correct. So I want that to go that way on this one. And I don't think it's going to matter on that one. So we'll put that one that way. Stick that down. I know. My problem is I get too much glue on. You guys can all see how messy I am. These make wonderful gift cards. You know, I haven't tried putting anything else in it. Be interesting to see if there's some type of candy bar that would fit in it, maybe. But when you punch or use a die cut, you want to make sure that the hole, oh, that's a horrible sloppy job. You want to make sure the hole is not so big that the candy will fall out. Okay. Let me rub some of the glue off my finger. Just like that here. Okay, now let's see. Let me grab the punch. And we'll go ahead and line this back up. See, it's pretty thick with all that paper in there. And I rather line it up a little bit short to make sure I don't catch the cardstock in it. And you'll see what I mean when I say a little bit short. You'll see how there's still a little bit of designer series paper, because I went too far yesterday on one of them and I couldn't punch it. I had to go get my husband to do it for me. That's how bad it was. Okay, now we still need to add our designer series paper right up here. And got to decide which way we want it to go. That way, of course. So grab our glue. And you'll notice I cut the label off my glue, and that's because it was getting too sticky. Okay, now if I was going to do my box where I was going to punch it out with a 1-inch circle punch or use die cuts to do it, I would punch before I put my designer series paper on. But we're not going to punch out this time. We're going to do it a different way. And I've only practiced it once, so we'll see how well it goes. We'll do it together. So we got the designer series paper on. Now we want to fold this flap over. This is the bottom one down here. We want to fold that over, and we want to put glue on it. And that should be the end of our gluing, hopefully. And we want to fold this over. We want this out straight. You just want to fold it flat so that it can go together. And then while that dries, what we're going to do next is, before we start putting the decorations on, I got my saying, so grateful, because as I said, this is one that is a fall theme. So we're going to take it and cut it out. And for this one, I am going to use one of the Stylish Shape dies. I'm going to use this one right here. And let's see. Now let's see, that pretty much just, oh, my hands are so sticky now. That pretty much just sticks right in there. If I, like on another one I'm going to show you, I had extra room, so I pushed it so the free space was down at one side. I'm just going to tape that in place because I knew my hands were going to move it when I like tried to lift it. Okay. I'm not having good luck today with anything. There we go. Just need to get that going. And this is the mini cut and emboss machine. I just got it, so that's why my plates look so nice and neat. It's because I haven't had a chance to mess them up yet. Take that off. So I got that. I really like these stylish frames. You got the circles, the squares, and that shape, rectangular shape with the arrows on it. Really cool. And the little cut and emboss machine is nice. If you like to take your stuff with you when you travel or something, it will be easy to do that. So we just fold the flaps in, and because we trimmed them, they're not going to get caught up or in our way from not cutting them the right size. Put that little circle there, that right there. Put that off. Just push that in. Then we'll grab 3 of our candies and we'll go ahead and put those in. Let's see, and I want to make sure that the sticker shows through on the one in the middle. So I'm going to move it a little bit. That way people will be able to see what it is. And then fold it back over. And just push that in. Now, okay, we're going to put a ribbon in it. So we're going to get a punch. And this isn't a real big one. I think it's probably about an 1/8 inch. I'm not quite sure on the size. It is. So I'm just going to go in about 1/4 of an inch or so and try to center it. Punch that out. Okay, and now I want to take my ribbon. Oh, here it is. Okay, and I don't have any Saffron or Cajun Craze. I don't even think I have. I didn't even think of looking for Mary Mallow. But you want to take it. So this is Bumblebee. So I'm taking it and putting it through both sides. And you want to make sure you leave enough. And you want to take your gift card and push it down like so. And then you want to, once you know how much you need, you can go ahead and cut this off. And you just want to tie it in a little knot there. I don't know if any of you saw that, but my gift card is the room key from when we stayed at the guest house in Memphis, when we went and visited Elvis. the museum and then toured his house. That was pretty cool. See, and then you just hold on to the end here and you just pull it out like so. Isn't that cool? So different ways to do it. And we'll go ahead and cut these with my sticky fingers. Just like that. Okay, now we need to finish this. And what I have here is using the, which stamp set did I use? Excuse me. I used the Hello Harvest stamp set. And I'm also use some embellishments from the Leaf Label and Amber Gem dies. But we've got a pumpkin here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take my, let's see, they're down here. I'm gonna get my pick, and I want to put, when I cut out the pumpkin yesterday, it was too long, so I ended up cutting it down, and to cut it down, I didn't want to mess up the embossing on the front, so I cut it from the back side, and that's why I have embossing on both sides. But I cut probably about 3/8 of an inch off of this. And then I just want some regular tape. I'll use my tear and tape. I'll put 2 pieces on it. And I have my stem. Funny thing is I cut more than one stem because I keep losing them. So let's see. I'm going to just take a glue dot and place it down at the very bottom of my stem. There's a glue dot. There we go. Tear off the back side of the tear and tape. And I'll just set that, not right there, but I'll set that right here. And then I'll go ahead and use a couple dimensionals on my greeting here. I didn't want to put Happy Thanksgiving in case somebody got it for a different reason, so I just used from the, what stamp set? The Soft Seedlings. I used the So Grateful stamp. I'll just put that on. I should have probably put on my saying first and had the pumpkin go over the edge of that. I didn't think of that until then. Okay, and I did put some adhesive sheet on the back of this piece of paper. Whoops, I need to get out that piece right there before I put it on, so that I could do some of these cool little green things down, and I wouldn't have to fight with glue on using them. There we go. Have that run down that way. And let's see. Should I put this third one on too? Kind of down here at the bottom. I grow pumpkins, pie pumpkins. Matter of fact, tomorrow I'm going to harvest 3 of them and go ahead and start cooking my pie pumpkin. I've been doing it for over 40 years now, ever since my son was about a year old. His babysitter showed me how to do it. But she had showed me with regular carving pumpkins. Well, a couple years ago, I discovered, no, you want to use pie pumpkins for it. And oh, it is so good. my husband's birthday is Tuesday, so he always gets a fresh pumpkin pie for his birthday. And we're just going to put 3 of these gems around. Use one of the larger ones. I'll just put that right over here. All right, and there we go. Isn't that pretty? Somebody would love to receive that. If you're going to somebody's house and want it to take a little thank you gift for inviting you over for Thanksgiving, or there's lots of things going on. These make a great teacher gift. If, you know, make them this little box and then put a little gift card in there for, you know, people love iTunes, Amazon, just any number of little things, a restaurant. So let me go on and move this stuff out of the way, and I'll show you all the different ones. See, I told you I cut more than one stem. These aren't all of them I made. These are going to be the ones out of the current designer series paper. So this is the Rustic Harvest. Let me turn these over so I get them right. This one is out of the Painted Christmas designer series paper. This is out of the Sweetest Christmas designer series paper. This one is out of the Splendid Day designer series paper, plus Happiness Abounds, the rose one. That's just one of the roses cut out. Beautiful. And this is a frosted ribbon. I can't remember if it's current or not. I have a lot of ribbons, so I'm using some of it up, as you'll see. This one is out of the Santa Express designer series paper. Both of these are. So there we go. And, you know, these have for a regular gift card, which I took the one and put it in there. So great gifts. Who knows? Maybe my grandchildren are going to get this with a gift card in it, or, you know, cash works too, as they tell me. So I hope you enjoyed this. You will find dimensions in the comments section down below the YouTube video, my webpage, stampinwithbonnielynn.com. If you like this, give it a thumbs up, please. I'm sorry I'm a little bit slow on these videos. I'm trying to get faster, but I want to make sure that you get everything you need. Thank you much, and if you need a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, please consider using me, Bonnie Linke. Thank you much, and have a great day. Bye.